2. Might want to grab the microphone. Hey, whoopsie doozy. How we doing?
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very dandily. How about yourself?
I am wunderbar, I suppose. Just got off of a 12-hour day.
Wonderbar.
So that's fun. And after all, you're my wonder bar.
See, I always think of that Tenacious D song, and I always go, Wonder Bar. Even though I know that it's Wonder Boy. But that's
I've
how
never
I
heard that song.
Wonder Boy by Tenacious D?
No.
Oh, God, dude, this song's so funny. And it's good. That's what makes it funny. Is that it's... Because, like,
they're a joke
they're
band,
joking.
But they're actually...
They're great.
Yeah.
They had a song about how good they are and about how they beat the devil because they had a song that was so good, but they just couldn't remember how it went.
It's the best song in the world.
And then they made a movie where they actually did that song, and the best part was that song's actually really good. Beelzebub, the name of the actual song. It's actually a really good song. There's a drum solo in it. There's a guitar solo in it. There's an angelic
is that the
chorus.
song that they're talking about?
Well, yes and no. The tribute was written first, and then in the movie, there's a song where they beat the devil with a song, and then they make a joke
Right,
after
after
the end credits. There's
that
a scene.
was the song the tribute was about.
Yep. There's after they're like, man, that was the best song in the world. How did it go? Man, I can't remember. And it's like, haha. Everything they do is good, but they're just kidding. The films they do are good. The songs they do. The little skits, the audio skits they do. You ever heard their drive-through one? It's like a little 2-minute skit.
No.
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious.
They're very Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, kinda. Except they write their own. Well, he writes. I mean, he parodies, but yeah, and he actually does write his own stuff. A lot of it too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, actually, he had the tour he's on now, with the one I had backstage passes to. It's a tribute to his original songs. You're close, but no cigar. Na 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 na. Because
I remember that one. That came out Straight Outta Linwood.
Yep, that was on Straight Outta Linwood.
Yep. I listened to all that shit when I was in middle school and high school.
Dude, I
White and Nerdy was my.
I bought backstage passes.
White and Nerdy was my ringtone for a year. I'm not too proud to admit that.
I order all of my sandwiches with mayonnaise. I'm a whiz at Minesweeper. I could play for days if you see my moves. Could you imagine if no, but yeah, I think that was like every loser's song, you know? I loved it. That was my song. I was a loser.
It was White and Nerdy. Everyone, all the White and Nerdy guys.
It came out when we were in middle school. Yeah, 2008 was when the album came out, but we were still in middle school at the time. We hadn't gone to high school yet.
Yeah, I think it came out that spring.
Yep, it was that spring.
And then...
Because I remember everybody, like, who was a loser, of course, loved that song, and I was one of them.
I had that... I bought that music video and played it on my my iPod with my parents' money.
Oh, my God, dude! That's amazing! Yeah, me too. But yeah, it was... did you know that song he recorded? He actually recorded it just like the song Hardware Store. He recorded it a lot slower. They actually sped it up in Pro Tools on the laptop. By the way, they recorded that entire album Straight Outta Linwood on a MacBook Pro with Pro Tools.
It sounds great.
It sounds amazing. And did you have the dual disc where you flip it upside down and it was a DVD side?
No, I just bought the MP3s.
Oh, you weren't as big of a loser as me. No, I had the one where it was a CD, and then you flip it, it was DVD. And on the DVD side, and then there's another CD that came with it, was like a karaoke version of them all the songs too. But you could watch the DVD, and they had the behind the scenes. You could actually watch them recording it. And not only is it cool, it's funny. Weird Al is funny even behind this. Like, he's not trying to be. They'll just be doing, like, he'll have like the little piano out, and he's just like dicking around. Or he'll be listening back, and he'll be like, push that forward a little bit. Nah, it's lagging. Do that. And it's just funny to watch him at work because he actually is a musician. Like he plays a lot of instruments. He understands music theory. He's actually a really smart guy. He's just a goofball and he's hilarious. But you would never know that if you didn't watch behind the scenes.
I think it's pretty apparent that he's an intelligent guy. He makes all of these references, and his lyrics are actually witty.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, with the songs he cares about.
Yeah, and then the other ones are just dumb, but in a funny way.
White Nerdy, he wrote for like 2 years. Took 2 years writing that song.
Don't go making phony calls. Now, that one was just stupid, but it was hilarious at the same time.
Yeah. Don't go chasing waterfalls, TLC.
That Huey Lewis in the News parody.
I want a new duck.
What the fuck does that mean?
Dude, I don't know what it means, but I love that song.
It was just dumb.
Really? I
Yeah.
like it better than the original. Like, legitimately. I mean, the lyrics are better than the original, like, sure. But, I mean, honestly, it was just the guitar that was used. Because the one used in the actual song was a little too clean for me. This one was a tiny bit more grunge. And yeah, that actually is it. That's really what... Because I pretty much stopped the song when Weird Al starts singing.
It's just the instrumentals. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the guitar.
Lyrics are dumb as fuck, though.
Plus
they don't mean anything.
Plus, it was back in the day when, one, he did do lyrics like that a little more often, but two, his singing got a lot better. I mean, I think people's singing generally gets better over the years. I mean, I'm still a kid, but I definitely sing a lot better now than I did when I was 16. But Weird Al, he kind of sung like this, and it was kind of nasally kind of thing, but now he sings more like he's actually a pretty good singer, which is strange because he's kidding.
He's had a few years to practice.
Like 40 plus years, yeah. When you think of it like that, it makes sense that he sings completely differently now. He's been singing for over 40 years. And another one bites the dust, or another one rides the bus, and another one's on, and another one's on, another one rides the bus. Ow! And he just like, that's how he sung, He was a weirdo.
Yeah, a lot of his original songs I like a lot more than many of his parodies. Like,
If that isn't love, I don't know what love is. The song's hilarious. That's on Alpocalypse, I think.
I'm thinking of the one that about illegally downloading. I'm forgetting.
Don't download this song.
Don't download this song.
Oh, dude, that one's hilarious.
I used to listen to that shit on repeat. Download this song.
Oh, you don't want to mess with the RIAA. Like, what? Like, why are you singing it like that? That's what makes it better, I think, is because it's such a serious, passionate song.
But he's singing about the most ridiculous thing.
Right. What the hell?
And there's like a scene in that video of like cops and a SWAT team breaking down a 12-year-old's door.
Yeah, at the end he like runs up to the rooftop and they're like shooting at him when they do the keychains from G to A. And it's like, what are you doing? Ah, funny shit.
It's the greatest. Yeah, he's definitely not as active as he used to be, but
he's touring right now.
Yeah, but he's not really making new albums, is he?
They just came out with a new album last year.
Did they?
Or was it last year, 2016? No, 16. Yeah, one recently came out. Can't remember what it was called, but I have it.
That was the one with all the celebrity appearances, right? In that one music video.
It was the one after Alpocalypse.
The one where we was talking about Grammar, the Grammar song. Is that what you're talking about? That
no,
album?
No, that was on Alpocalypse.
Oh, okay.
It was the one.
I didn't know that. Yeah, but he's. I definitely listened to him a lot as a kid. Yeah, I had a lot of. My music taste in middle school was pretty much Weird Al. Bowling for Soup, Panic at the Disco.
Oh Jesus, that one I can't relate to.
Oh man, yeah, no, it was all like the.
What an anal lube just sitting here.
The Seeny Weeny.
I do.
The Seeny Weeny shit.
Not saying I use it. I also have a dagger here. Doesn't mean I use that. Anyway, why do I?
You never listened to the early records of Fall Out Boy when you were a kid?
Honestly,
that was just me.
I could not tell you a single Fall Out Boy song. I don't know how many people are in that band. They're a band, right?
They're a band.
They're a band.
Yeah.
I don't know a
They've
single
gotten really
song.
Poppy recently.
I assume they were a pop rock band. I don't know.
Yeah, they were definitely always pop rock, but they've gotten a lot more poppy. Yeah, they were a little sceney back in the day.
Poppies.
Yeah. You never heard like this ain't a scene, it's a goddamn arms race.
No.
Yeah, that was called This Ain't a Scene, it's an arms race. Dance Dance. No. All these songs.
Dance
from my
Dance
childhood.
Revolution. Yeah.
Pretty sure that song was on Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh.
We're falling apart to halftime.
I gotta have matches somewhere else.
What I know what you listened to as a kid. It was mostly like
AC/DC, Van
classic
Halen.
rock, yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Listen to Green Day. Green Day is probably, other than Tenacious D is the newest band I listen to, then Green Day. Green Day is like 1988. Then everyone else I listened to came out way before 1985.
Yeah.
Green Day was always kind of my, like...
Constant.
No. My, what do you call it? Guilty pleasure? Like,
How was that a guilty pleasure?
I was always embarrassed that I listened to Green Day.
Because it was a modern day band?
No, 'cause they're an 80s band, but I think I've always been kind of embarrassed because I've always loved their drummer, but them just as a whole, well, let me rephrase. As a whole, they work together and they're very good. Individually, they're nothing really that special, which makes them tremendously different. Because, like, Van Halen, right? Alex Van Halen by himself, amazing drummer. Eddie Van Halen by himself is amazing guitar. Like these people, you could separate them. With Green Day, it was just like maybe Trey Cool, you could separate him. But I've been listening to them so much now, just because they're so easy to play along to and so easy to sing along to. I think I'm accidentally beginning to emulate them on everything, every instrument that I play.
You've been doing that for years, though.
Have I?
Yeah. You've been doing that since high school.
What?
Yeah. I thought you were doing that intentionally.
No. I just play the way I play. I always thought my guitar style, in a way I was kind of sort of emulating Randy Rhoads, the original guitarist to Eddie Van Halen. Like when Ozzy Osbourne. Ha! Names. Bands that are named after names. Ozzy Osbourne. Like, remember at church, when I played a church band, that song, Dignified? So, for those of you listening, I used to play in a church band, and there was a song called Undignified, and it was the slowest, most boring bullshit song ever. And one day the band, we were like, hey, what if we made this song, like, not suck? And so we made it kind of like a rock song where Justin, the drummer, he'd start off with this, like, chicka, 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 chicka on the hi-hat with a thump, thump, thump on the bass. And I just came in with, like, a heavily delayed, heavily reverbed metal sound, and I would just slide in, and I did this little like every other like 4 measures, kind of like Randy Rhoads did that a lot. And I think I played that song so much that it started to bleed into the way I played other songs, and so I thought, the way I'm playing is unintentionally very similar to Randy Rhoads, and now I feel like it's turning into Green Day.
You weren't playing for God when you did that.
I wasn't playing for God.
Yeah.
God damn it. That was so fucking retarded, dude.
Want to explain what that is?
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So, anyway, I used to be a fundamentalist Christian. Like, when I was one of those Christians where, like, if you would have held a gun to my head and been like, hey, say there's no God or I'll shoot you, I would have just said shoot me. Like, that's how deep, like, my parents indoctrinated the fuck out of me. It was crazy. Anyway, that being said, I played in a church band, and in the youth group. Primarily in the youth group. Occasionally I play with the church band. Normally I was just in the youth group. And there's this guy named Kelly, and he was one of the leaders for the youth group, and that guy was a piece of work. Douchebag. He told Jared Knister to keep it in his pants, like referring to his daughter. We were like 15. Like, we're not even interested in sex yet, you fucking weirdo. Anyway, we were playing, and we always on Sunday nights, we played the youth service. We always got there like 5 hours early, the band, just to practice. And we were practicing, and honestly, all that was on my mind, I never thought I was like the shit or anything. I always, Eric, the other guitarist, I always let him do solos every now and then, because I didn't want to seem like I was being standoffish or whatever. But no, we honestly played because we loved God and all that shit. So, Kelly comes in one day and he sees us playing, and this is one of the days I was on the drums because our drummer couldn't play. He called me, asked if I wanted to fill in, so I was filling in. So he came up and he was saying, hey, like, the way you're playing, it's like you're thinking about the music. And I'm a little autistic. I wasn't really thinking about what he was saying. And so I was like, yeah, as a drummer, you really got to like kind of focus to make sure you're holding the beat because you're holding the song together. And he was like, no, it seems like you're not playing for God. And I was like, what the fuck?
fuck does that mean?
How do you respond to that? Like, all right, like, some what's her Owen who's like, what the hell? But yeah, he was just like that, and he said before to like the whole band, like, hey, one time he told me when playing guitar, he's like, you always seem like you gotta have the last note. Like, yeah, that's how you end rock songs live.
That's how they
end.
Yeah, that guy was a piece of work.
The drummer hits the bass and the cymbal. I hit a note and slide down. That's it. That's the end of this. That's what we do. That's the formula.
He was a bit ridiculous. I remember I was dating this girl in high school, and I brought her to church, and we had like just started dating, right? So I was introducing her to Kelly, and he apparently earlier that summer had seen me walking around the North Gate or North Lake.
Okay.
He had seen me walking around that area in the neighborhood where we grew up, and so he said to her, a girl who has blonde hair, hey, I think I saw you guys walking around earlier, like a month ago. And then she goes, yeah, that wasn't me. The other girl had black hair. She had like straight up blonde hair. And it seemed like he was just fucking with me at that moment,
Or maybe he
try to like make me look like a player or something.
Perhaps he just genuinely forgot that people don't date for like 5 years average. I mean, that could have been it too, because he's an adult, right? I mean, now that we're adults, it's like, usually when you date someone, at minimum, it's
we
months.
We were high schoolers, though.
Right, but I'm saying he hasn't been a high schooler in decades, so he probably hasn't been in that mentality.
It seemed like he was fucking with me.
He could have been. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. Of course, he meant it like that. He's a fuck. But other people who aren't fucks could have meant that.
But he truly was.
God, I forgot that guy existed.
That was probably for the best. I'm sorry I brought him back into your brain.
Dude, here's something kind of funny I've never told anybody. Because I was a fundamentalist Christian. I remember I was deep in that shit, man. I legitimately asked one time, how can Kelly be a Christian and be a liberal?
He claimed to be a liberal?
Yeah, he claimed to be a liberal. Yeah. But that as a child, like, I couldn't put the two together. Like, if you're a liberal, you can't be a Christian. If you're a Christian, you're a conservative. That's the way it works. I remember
maybe not.
Well, that's
generally that is the case.
Right. Like the evangelicals are all on the right. The moral majority, the Christians in this country, are on the right.
That's truly sad how conservative we are as a country.
I mean, Jesus was all about Wall Street bailouts.
Yeah. And Jesus, if he were around today, he wouldn't be riding around on a camel.
No, dude, that guy would be in a
riding
Cadillac.
around in private jets.
No, he'd be in a fucking Escalade, man. You ever seen an Escalade?
What the fuck was that evangelical?
The guy who wanted another jet?
Yeah, he wanted a fourth private jet, and he was asking for donations for that.
If Jesus were around today, he wouldn't be on no fucking camel, okay? He'd be in a G5 aircraft.
The country accent, yeah.
He'd be in a G5.
He wanted... I can't remember what he wanted. I just know that it was like one of the most expensive private planes that you could get.
Yeah, it was a golf. What was this? A golf jet? Damn it! I don't remember. But when the news hit, because I used to fly a little bit. If I saw it again, I would know. But I remember when the news hit, I watched the video, and I saw the aircraft he wanted. I recognized what it was, and you're right. At the time, it was one of those like ridiculously expensive ones. I don't remember what it was though. But it was really, really, really stupid. It was like hundreds of millions, which a lot of jets are.
To glorify God. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got to spread the word. You got to spread it fast, and nothing. A Cessna 172 is not going to
It's
cut
not
it.
going to do anything. No.
Right, that's going to give me the Tucson. That's it.
Satan wants me to get a Cessna.
Yes, Satan. Well, that's really weird that you don't want me to do God's work. You know who also doesn't want me to do God's work, right? Satan. So
Give me all your goddamn money.
Give me all your goddamn money. Yeah, this church ain't gonna pay for itself. We're tax exempt and everything, but it's not gonna pay for itself.
Wasn't there something passed recently to where talking about politics doesn't hurt your tax exempt status anymore?
I remember hearing something about that, but
that's fucking crazy.
Right. Well, it's like it used to be the case that if you endorsed a candidate or endorsed a president or a politician, or the opposite, opposed them, that you no longer qualified for that tax exemption. But churches have been doing that forever. I mean, there have been churches I've seen with the cutouts of George Bush and would pray to George Bush every day and shit like that.
But the government is on their side. That's why they get away with it.
Yeah, they're in bed together. Of course. I mean, you see Trump go around fucking talk. Who's that chimpanzee on the 700 Club?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
It's a species. It's a troglodyte.
Fuck, I can't remember his name.
Pat Robertson. Pat Robertson.
Pat Robertson.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, he's really good friends with
He does look
Trump.
like a chimpanzee. I
Yeah,
never noticed that.
Absolutely, he does. His ears. Just Google images Pat Robertson.
Just a racist, corrupt chimpanzee.
Exactly. Nothing wrong. Oh God. I find it so strange that you can't call black people monkeys, and yet you can call George Bush a chimpanzee. You can call Pat Robertson a chimpanzee.
Did you know that Pat Robertson is a CEO? He's the CEO of something called Regent University, which sounds...
That I did not know.
Do you know what Regent University is? If
it's anything like Prager University or Trump University, I don't want to know.
Let's look it up. Is a private Christian research university.
Prager University.
Private Christian research. That's an oxymoron.
That sounds legit. Hey, I mean, they could be researching. It's Christian, so it has to be something outside of our world.
No, God. The university was founded by Pat Robertson in 1977 as Christian Broadcasting Network University. Oh, that's great. Through its 8 academic schools, Regent offers associate's, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in over 70 courses of study. Who the fuck would hire you if you have a degree from Pat Robertson University?
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm trying to get into Berkeley, but that sounds like a pretty good.
Yeah, man, that's my dream school.
Right. See,
I want to see. I just want.
On one hand,
Pat Robertson net worth. This should be good.
See, on one hand, I don't have to take the GRE to get into Berkeley.
He's worth over $100 million.
I knew that. Yeah.
Just glorifying God. Yeah. What was that thing in the Bible about?
It's easier for it's harder for a rich man to get
camel to pass through a camel. No, wait, what? Was it for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven?
Yep.
Yeah, you can tell Pat Robertson really takes scripture to heart.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the relevant ones. We can't take the whole thing seriously. I'd have to stop wearing these suits.
Read the part where Jesus was basically like a commie hippie?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the entire New Testament.
Like, yeah.
The entire thing.
The point of that whole thing.
Right,
was basically fuck rich people, and you became one.
He was a socialist, too. Remember the whole, bread and loaves thing? Just, redistributing that to everybody, redistribute the wealth?
Oh, I need to make that argument to my evangelical relatives.
Oh, Jesus was really pro-weed, too.
What was that?
Jesus is pro-weed, too. There's a few passages in the Bible, one of which I know for a fact is in the New Testament in Matthew, where, well, maybe not Jesus, but his dad, God, or depending on what you believe, maybe God is Jesus. I don't give a fuck, because it's not real anyway. But there's a passage, at least in Matthew, where God's talking about how the green, I don't remember the exact words, but the green vegetation, they definitely say the word green there. The green, the plants, is like God has given this to you for you to use for your consumption, etc. So it's like, oh, so all the green plants in the world, God gave to us. Well, weed's a green plant that grows out of this world. So did God give that to us for us to use and enjoy? I would say yes, because it says in Matthew or I think it was Matthew, it was in the New Testament for sure, that God gave us these green plants to use and to consume and to enjoy for ourselves.
It's literally a plant.
As humans.
It's a plant.
Yeah, it's a green plant.
That all you do, and there's no process there. You just pick it up from the ground.
You could eat. You literally just eat it. You could literally just eat it. That's it. Hey, it's a plant. Thanks, God.
And you'll just feel really good for a while.
Right. That's it. Oh, by the way, you know people are overdosing now on synthetic marijuana.
I've seen the uptick in K2 deaths.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
If only there was a way to solve that issue. If only there was like a, I don't know, maybe like a non-synthetic version of that.
The actual shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like just use the actual stuff. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but weed, that's the real danger.
Right, so we got to make these synthetic things that literally kill people.
It's kind of like Kyle Kalinske. He put it like this. It's basically a game of cat and mouse, because the K2 manufacturers, they'll try to make, the FDA will make their version of K2 illegal. And then they'll change the ingredients around to make it legal again, and then they'll make that shit illegal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have to change the ingredients. They just change the actual components. So like for example, you can look at the structure of a drug or any chemical, and you could say this part of the structure, whether that be like ethanol or it doesn't matter, anything, any part of it. You say this is the part of the molecule that controls this function. This is the function for which we're going, because this is the function that causes these side effects. Well, this part of the molecule doesn't affect the actual effect of the drug, so let's get rid of this carbon atom, for example. Or let's add in this atom over to this structure on the molecule, because it changes the actual the actual molecule. Now it's technically, by definition, a different molecule, but it functions the same way. And that's what they do. And that's the same thing that nerdy scientists used to do back in the 70s when meth was illegal and you wanted to get meth. It's like, well, it's not meth, because we changed, we got rid of this or we added this. Functionally, it's the exact same thing, but now it's different. But it's not. For those of you who can't see because you're not watching, I did air quotes. It's different, air quotes. So it's so lazy. Well, it's not lazy, I guess, but it's, Like you know what you're doing when you do that as a scientist. You know what you're doing. You're like, it's like when they have new versions. We got a new drug. It's better than the old one. But then the tests are like, it's not better. It's the same thing. Oh, but we released a new thing. You can say it's different because you changed one or two things in it, but it's the same drug.
You charge like 100% more?
Right, exactly. Oh, that'd be nice if they only charged 100% more. Then it'd just be twice the price.
Remember Martin Shkreli? How
overnight, like 3,000%.
Was it 3,000? Yeah, I was about to ask how much of a percentage hike it was.
Yeah, it was like 3,000%
for like a vital
overnight
cancer pill or something.
Oh, I thought it was EpiPen.
No, I don't think it was the EpiPen.
Oh, EpiPen did that once.
Because it was I know it was a pill, because he raised the price on a pill from however many dollars a pill to like $100-something.
That might have been something else. I know EpiPen did the same thing though, but yeah, he did it in like one night. It was literally overnight. That's why it was a big deal, because people just woke up and they're like, "Wait a minute, what? Why is this Is that 3,000% or 3,000 times the price?" It was something really stupid.
Fucking expensive in this country. Like, it's ridiculous.
Dude, people have no idea how cheap drugs. Dude, if you haven't traveled internationally, if you do, just go to their pharmacies. I know you want to see Big Ben and the Eiffel Tower and all that shit. No. Big Ben, no. Boots, yes. Boots is just Walgreens. Is what they call it in the UK.
I know this.
Go there.
Yeah, there's that. And then I know this guy who went to Amsterdam, and he like really fucked up his ankle. He thought it was broken, but it was really just like a lot of inflammation. Like, he really stressed it out.
Weed will help with that.
Yeah, right. Well, he's in Amsterdam.
Yeah, exactly. Get
So,
some weed.
But he just went to the doctor, and they just charged him like it took like $80 to get it looked at, like total. Even when he went to the emergency room, yeah, $80.
$80 literally doesn't get you an ambulance here.
No. Yeah. So even if you were to move overseas as an American and you didn't,
and that's as a foreigner. That's as a foreigner.
Yeah,
who paid $80.
Yeah. That's what you're paying. That was my point. Yeah. Even if you're just moving to another country and you obviously can't take advantage of their healthcare system entirely because you have to pay into it first.
Right. It's still cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. Like moving to Canada. Like even though you wouldn't be able to take advantage, it would. Instant savings,
right?
Each month.
And also the private care in Canada is still about half of the private care here. So yeah, even if you're paying their for supplemental private
out of
care,
pocket, not even like premiums. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But even supplemental private care is cheaper than it. Well, we don't really have supplemental private care because that would imply that we have health care, and supplemental is private care on top of that. But I'm saying their supplemental private care is cheaper than our private care.
Yeah,
which is insane. But whatever.
Yeah, it fills in the gaps. If people want to just get seen now, they can, and it's not that much more.
Oh, but you know what? Actually, thankfully, I actually have this clip that I wanted to show you. You've probably seen this, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, the Jake Tapper bit?
Jake Tapper, yeah. The Jake Tapper-Rooner.
The Tapmeister.
Yeah, just the other year, Jake Tapper announced that CNN was partnering up with factcheck.org, which made me think, what the fuck have you guys been doing the past 30 years then, CNN? But apparently, because they just haven't had a fact check. Seriously, what the fuck? What do you do as a news organization if not fact check?
It's very misleading, this clip.
Right. Oh. Just if you guys haven't heard, you won't be able to watch. It doesn't matter.
It's just really sleazy.
Oh, it's so great. I'm gonna pause it periodically though, because I have a couple things to say. But let's give it a play. Here is Jake Tapper. The guy from CNN who needed factcheck.org because they just didn't know how to fact check it. I might be a conspiracy theorist. I think they just hooked up with factcheck.org so they could start to say softball things against Trump and they wouldn't lose as many viewers because then they could say, hey, we're not saying this, fact check is saying it, And I have some evidence to support that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to play this clip. Here's Jake Tapper giving you the what's for with Medicare for All. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, and just as a background, he's talking about. So about 3 weeks ago there was a study funded by the Koch brothers, libertarian, conservative leaning, that showed that Medicare for All would save the American people $2 trillion over a 10-year period. Now that study, I think we talked about in the other podcast. They inflated some numbers. I actually read the study. They took the 2% and they tripled it to 6% for Medicare overhead costs. They took the 8% and rose it to 11% for the influx in people who would actually go to the doctor. Anyway, even inflating the numbers, they still said, yeah, you'd save two. Well, they didn't say it, but you can crunch the numbers. You can say, oh yeah, you'd save $2 trillion over 10 years. That's what happened. This is what he's talking about. Let's go.
Hey everybody, it's Jake Tapper from CNN State of the Union and...
Dang it, let me make it so we can hear. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I got to turn on the speaker.
Hey everybody, it's Jake Tapper from CNN State of the Union and factcheck.org, and this week we're going to take a look at a claim made by two self-identified Democratic socialists, Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders and New York congressional candidate Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Now, pay attention to the wording here, because the wording is very important.
They say that a study funded by the billionaire Koch brothers, who are generally, I think it's fair to say, libertarians and conservatives, that the Medicare for All proposal would actually save the government money.
Okay. I had to pause there. So right now he's about to show you a clip that's about to disprove what he just said. So what he just said was that the claim was that this would save the government money. That was the claim. Now he's saying Bernie Sanders said that. Now let's see what Bernie Sanders said. Let's see what Jake Tapper is showing us that Bernie Sanders said.
Let me thank the Koch brothers, of all people, for sponsoring a study that shows that Medicare for All would save the American people $2 trillion over a 10-year period.
The American people. So So Jake Tapper just said that, and he's going to say it again. Jake Tapper just said, oh, they're going to save the government money. No one ever said it's going to save the government money. It's going to cost the government money because it's the government who's going to be paying for it. Of course, it's not going to save. It's going to save the people. It's going to save you and me money. Jake, let's continue.
That Medicare for All is actually is actually much cheaper than the current system that we pay right now.
Is that true? Did a study funded by the Koch brothers indicate that Medicare for All would actually save the U.S. government trillions of dollars?
Yes.
No, it's not true, at least not according to the author of the study.
So, Jake Tapper, CNN, had the guy who said we need to hook up with factcheck.org. And I think I see why now they hooked up with factcheck.org. Because his investigative journalism makes him think, okay, there's a claim that there's a study done by biased people. But the claim is that this study goes against their bias. How should I investigate that claim? Well, let's ask the people who wrote it. What? Of course they're going to say that's not the case. Duh.
They're the ones with the bias.
They're the ones with the bias, you idiot. Like, what kind of This is your job. You do this, probably 40, maybe more hours a week? For how many years? And you don't know? Well, hey, actually, it was CNN. It was CNN years ago when, remember the police officer who, the police brutality, I know there's so many, it's hard to remember. The one where he lifted up the hood of his car to cover the dash cam so they couldn't see what was going on. And then it was in Las Vegas. And they're like, well, it gets hot and stuff, and you got to open the hood, because to laugh some of the heat, which is not true at all. That's bullshit. But, so CNN's like, well, they're claiming that what this cop did was bad, so we went and asked the cops, and they at the department, and they all said that he didn't break any of the rules. I'm like, well, I guess that clears it up. Thanks, CNN. You solved the puzzle. You solved the puzzle. But yeah, that's what he did. He went to the people who wrote the study.
The fact that he sounds so confident, though, kind of helps him sell his shit. But then when you break it down.
Right. It's like, did this do that? No. Here's what happened. Let me tell you to you straight, because I'm the Tapmeister.
The study in question is a working paper from the Mercatus Center at George Mason University that looked at the 10-year impact of Senator Sanders' proposed Medicare for All plan. Now, while it's true that the Koch brothers have given millions of dollars to the Mercatus Center at George Mason University, and an AP investigation earlier this year suggested that the Koch brothers do have control and influence over the hiring and firing of professors, we should note, for whatever it's worth, the authors of this study said the Koch brothers did not influence them in any way.
Case closed. That settles it. Okay. They said that didn't affect them. I believe them. Hey,
facts.
You got a lot of money from these guys, and they want the study to say this. Were you influenced by them? No. Well, again, they said no, so people can't lie. Jake
Ever. That
Jake
doesn't exist. We don't live in a world where people bend at the truth.
Yeah, I'd like to make an apology and retract an earlier statement. Earlier in this podcast, I was making fun of CNN for having to partner with factcheck.org. Now I understand why CNN had to partner with factcheck.org, because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to fact check. This is CNN, everybody. You know, one of the N's in CNN actually stands for news. Yeah,
that was a shock to me.
Well, the other N stands for not, so shouldn't be too much of a shock.
Clearly not news.
Now, Senator Sanders' spokesperson, he told us that while the study says Medicare for All would increase the federal budget by roughly $32 trillion, it also said...
Oh, I'm sorry. It would increase the budget by $32 trillion?
That's very, very misleading.
That is, I would straight up say that's a lie. It won't increase it by 32. It will turn it into $32 trillion.
But that's not just government spending, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, currently we're projected to pay what 59 trillion or 49 trillion. Right. This study showed. It said in the at the beginning of the study, it was saying that it's 32.6. That's what it said. I remember reading that. 32.6 trillion is the cost of this healthcare program. What they forgot to mention is that our current healthcare program is 49 trillion.
That is, to be fair, that is both government and private spending on healthcare.
I don't
that
get
49 trillion. So that's how much people are paying in like premiums and shit.
Right.
And on top of like Medicare, Medicaid, all of that.
Right.
But when you think about it for a little bit, clearly it would save the government money because they wouldn't be spending as much on like ER visits, because obviously preventative care would be there would be an uptick in that.
Yeah, it would save the government trillions of dollars.
Yeah. So yeah, it would save people money because they're essentially already paying a tax to insurance companies with premiums and copays and all that. But it would also save the government money because they're not dealing with people coming in from the streets dying of heat stroke.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a little bit crazy to me. That, you know, let's let the Tapmeister talk. I keep interrupting him. I'm sorry.
That the projected cost of all healthcare expenditures in the U.S. would drop by $2 trillion. The study's author says that $2 trillion drop is not actually his conclusion. He said that's based on assumptions made by Senator Sanders.
You know, it's weird. I read those assumptions in that study, and you guys can look it up too. Type in Koch brothers Medicare study into Google. It'll be the first, or maybe not first result, but one of them will say in brackets PDF. That's the full study. Click on that link. Read it yourself. These assumptions that Tapmeister's talking about, because he clearly read it too, by the sounds of it, that Bernie Sanders made. It's in the study. The numbers are there. You can just whip out a calculator and then do the math yourself. The numbers are already there. You just need to plug them in. Like, what the fuck?
It doesn't spell it out for you.
Right, it doesn't spell it won't directly say this saves this money. It has the numbers, and then you can put them in because they're just variables.
And then compare them.
And then compare, and then you compare. And then it's like, oh, that's less than that. So it saves money.
It would make sense that they're not like advertising.
Right, yeah.
It would save money.
Abstract. Sentence 1. So guys, we could save a lot of money on Medicare for all. No, it's not going to say that in the fucking abstract.
He wrote, quote, "It is likely that the actual cost of Medicare for all would be substantially greater than these estimates, which assume significant administrative and drug cost savings under the plan, and also assume that healthcare providers operating under Medicare for all will be reimbursed at rates more than 40% lower than those currently paid by private health insurance."
I just love that. The numbers are likely to be different. Oh, why'd you do the study then? What's the point of a study? It's like, you know what, we did this study, and we did all this math, and we crunched the numbers, and we lined up about a couple of them, we inflated a couple of the numbers. But anyway, aside from that, we did the numbers, we crunched it, we looked at some other variables. But you know what? This could all be wrong. It could actually cost a lot more. It might. Yeah, it could also be cheaper. It could also be the same. Why are we playing this game of it could? You did the study. It's cheaper.
You have the data.
Right, you have the data, and it's cheaper.
Oh, but I see you didn't like the data.
Right,
so
that's exactly what it is. You did the study. Studies have already been done. This isn't like the first one. Don't be like, the reason this study is so significant is because it came from the right. That's the reason this is significant, because most studies come from, the nowhere. They just come out of scientific communities, which somehow now is painted as like liberal conspiracies, like gravity and shit. But
and global warming,
right? That one actually is. People call it a conspiracy, which is mind blowing to me. But I just saw Steven Crowder earlier was talking about today. He was talking about how global warming is a hoax, and the fires in California is like liberal propaganda, people screaming.
People's property burning, that's propaganda?
Yeah,
that's that's all an act. Yeah.
Well, he was saying
that fire is CG.
Well, no, it happened. He's saying it's not caused by global climate change. And I was like, forest fires are part of like the ecosystem. They're supposed to happen. Like they get rid of deadwood and stuff like this, but then you start putting houses and stuff in the middle of the woods, which is what humans, our species, have been doing the past, couple hundred years now. Well, longer than that, but the past couple hundred years, we've really been pushing people into the woods because now we have GPS. And anyway, but the point is, yes, and no, this was the point. He made this comment about how he dismissively laughed, like, "Oh yeah, now the liberals are saying like extreme cold is climate change and extreme heat is climate change. Like you can't have it both ways. Like it's not like actually, yeah, you can. I'm sorry." And then he actually went on to a bitching rage about how like, they take these simple complex things and they like try to add nuance to them. Like no, just things are more nuanced than you think. Like, dude, it's a scientific consensus. Okay, it's like over 98% of the entire scientific community accepts. And then he was like, "Well, science doesn't go off of consensus." Yes, it does. It directly does. That's how science works. And if you disagree with something, you know what you do? You do your own study, and then you disprove it. And then if it works, then other people replicate your study, and they see if they can get the same results. And then other people do experiments and see if they can replicate it. And if more and more people can do it, they're like, "Oh shit, gravity's real, man." And that's how it works. That's science. So no, Crowder. "Oh, it's not like it's just a majority rule." Yes, it is. That's science. That's science.
There's a scientific consensus.
Right, it's a scientific consensus.
I always think about Bill Nye being on CNN and debating that one climate denier.
God,
and
CNN's really just shit.
Yeah, and he told them, you guys are doing a real disservice here, not having on one climate denier and not having on 99 people who say, yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Because that's the proportion.
Well, yeah, CNN has a neutrality bias, much like a lot of the news has, and it's horrible. Like they have to be neutral. Everything is, this is cool,
and it makes it seem like there's still a debate.
Right.
Like both sides are equally right.
Right. Some people say it's round. Some people say it's flat. Hey, I got this guy
Could
right
be
here.
either way.
Actually, that's a great example. That'd be exactly analogous. Like, hey, we have this guy who
it's
thinks
the exact same thing. Yeah.
This guy thinks the Earth is a spheroid, and this guy who thinks it's flat. Okay, let's talk about it. Like, why are we talk? It's not a debate. Like, let's move on to other stuff, dude. I don't have time to talk about is the Earth round. Yeah, why don't you ask Google for directions somewhere? How does that work? We got satellites orbiting the global positioning satellites. The globe is being orbited by satellites. Global positioning satellites.
Yeah, the Flat Earth Society has chapters all around the globe.
God damn it. That's great. I love that. That should be their slogan.
In fact, he lays out an alternate scenario that does not include savings from provider payment cuts. And in that scenario, the report says that there would be a net increase in healthcare spending. Now, we're not here to make a judgment on the viability of Medicare for All, and we have no idea if the Koch brothers influenced the writing of this Mercatus Center study.
Yeah, who's to say?
It does seem pretty clear.
Yeah, we at CNN, we couldn't figure that one out. Like, hey, it's not. Who's to say? Who knows? How are we gonna know if they were influenced? What are we gonna look at the evidence? What are we gonna investigate? What are we? This is CNN. What do you want us to do? Some kind of investigative journalism and then report news to you? Who the fuck do you think we are? 2 years ago, we hooked up with factcheck.org so that we could fact check the State of the Union address that Donald Trump gave.
You're really hammering away on that fact check shit.
Factcheck.org is partners with CNN. CNN is one of the biggest news agencies in America.
They're clearly not news, though.
Yeah, clearly not news. Dude, that's great. I'm going to use that. Did you think of that?
Just on the spot.
Dude, that's amazing. To give myself credit, I did take 2/3 of that.
Well, yeah.
I gave you the foundation.
Well, everyone says that shit. One of those ends is news, and then you said not. The
Other
other
people
end is
say
not.
that?
Yeah, you've never heard that?
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. It's not original.
This is like the third time in my life I've thought of something clever, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is the smartest thing I've ever thought. And then it's like, oh yeah, I heard someone say that once. And I'm like, excuse me?
No, people say that all the time. What are you
Shut
talking
the
about?
fuck up.
The Majority Report says that.
don't watch
Kyle
the Majority
Kalinske
Report.
says that.
I watch him. I've never heard him say that.
David Pakman says that.
I've seen some of his stuff.
David Pakman's cool. I like the Majority Report. He's really his shit is kind of my style. But
Majority Report's on my list of news agencies to start watching. Though.
no, he's cool because he mixes politics and memes. So I love that.
That's interesting.
His editing's cool.
I currently watch about 20 or watch, read, and listen to about 20 different news agencies every day. So that's fun. 2 of them I have to get on the flippin' deep web to access. The Independent and WikiLeaks. But yeah, it's that's one that's on my list.
That
Get
the
to it,
presentation
Tappy.
being made by Senator Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez about this study lacks a lot of context, and the author of the study says they are not being accurate. A reminder to all you politicians out there.
And that's it. So Jake Tapper over at the news station that is not news, that is partners with factcheckout.org ever since the State of the Union address that Trump gave. His investigative journalism starts and stops at how are we going to determine if this claim is true that this study was done by people who disagree with what our interpretation of the results are. Well, we should go ask the people who did the study, and that's it. That's what we're going to do. That's our news for you. So thanks for watching and paying a monthly subscription to watch CNN.
That's essentially what that was. Let's go ask the authors what they think.
That's exactly what that was. Well, hey, people are saying you guys are dumb. What do you have to say about that? Nuh-uh. Well, you heard it here, folks. CNN.
Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. So next time you might want to hear.
Tapmeister out.
So, and let me just tell you guys, you're entitled to your own opinion. You're not entitled to your own facts.
Yeah,
I
you
think
didn't play that bit.
No,
Yeah,
he
you
says
cut
that
him
at the end.
Yeah, I know. You didn't. It sounds so smug and smarmy. Yeah, he says it right here.
You're perfectly entitled to your own opinions, not to your own facts.
Yeah, not to your own facts. Okay, we asked them.
Yeah, he
said nah. So
douche.
fuck you, Jake Tapper.
Well, he has his moments though. Like remember that spokesperson for Roy Moore that he was talking to? I fucking love that clip. So basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's
I'm gonna pull it up.
before we can, yeah, but before it was during an Alabama election, and this guy named Roy Moore,
God.
yeah, had who was
I'm
running
pulling
for
that shit
governor.
up.
Yeah, dude, pull it up. Basically, his spokesperson was on CNN to talk about Muslims swearing into Congress, and it's
Don't give away too much.
it's special. It's special.
His face is the best. I can't. Please, dude, if you like this podcast, if you enjoy listening to us, you can support us by looking this video up and watching it. Because I swear to God, you can listen to it and it's funny, but you can watch it and it's 30 times funnier. This guy's face, he's no. Just let me pause.
Speaking of Roy Moore, I have to urinate.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna let me see your microphone. Okay.
Hi.
Get it? 'Cause he's waste.
I'm using. Oh, this is interesting. I'm using Schmidt's microphone now because mine is static and tied to a mic stand. Oh, not a stand, but a mic arm at the table. And Schmidt has a freeform mic that is not static or tied down to anything. Let's see. Jake Tapp. Do you remember the guy's name?
Just type in.
Probably Roy Moore.
CNN. Jake Tapper.
Oh, here it is. Wait, is it this one? Let me see. Oh, yep, it's about 1 minute 8 seconds.
Judge Moore has also said that he doesn't think a Muslim.
Oh, yep. This is it. Okay. Oh, it's great. Yeah, I'll just play it. You guys are gonna love this shit.
Judge Moore has also said that he doesn't think a Muslim member of Congress should be allowed to be in Congress. Why? Under what provision of the Constitution?
Because you have to swear on the Bible. When you are before, I had to do it. I'm an elected official, 3 terms. I had to swear on the Bible. You have to swear on the Bible to be an elected official in the United States of America. He alleges that a Muslim cannot do that ethically, swearing on the Bible.
You don't actually have to swear on a Christian Bible. You can swear on anything, really. I don't know if you knew that. You can swear on...
And Jake learned that from factcheck.org. Let's continue.
On a Jewish Bible?
Oh, no,
you can
I
swear
swore on the Bible. I've done it 3
Three
times.
times.
I'm sure you've picked a Bible, but the law is not that you have to swear on a Christian Bible. That is not the law.
It's got the most dumbfounded look I've ever seen.
You don't know that? All right, Ted Crockett with
I
the
don't
MoR.
know. I know
He's about to
that,
say goodbye.
Donald
He was
Trump
trying to
did it
Ted
when
Crockett,
when he
everybody.
made him
He was trying
president.
to help
Because he's
him out.
Christian and he picked it. That's what he wanted to. That's what he wanted to swear in on. Ted Crockett with the MoR campaign. Good luck tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
God damn it! I love. No, he.
No,
J-
I
try-
swear on the Bible. I've done it 3 times.
guys, I know you can't see the video, but goddamn, his face was so bad that Jake Tapper tried to say, "All right, guys, that's it." Like he tried to move on.
Classic deer in headlights. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. He just was a deer. Like, and his mouth is open and everything, and it still is kind of, but it's still. Oh God.
He just looks dumb too. Him and Roy Moore, they actually have a similar kind of face. I'll call it Southern charm.
Is that what you call incest? That's interesting. I wonder why they all look the same down there. It's because they're all cousins. That's why.
That's fucking why. No, I mean,
We just lost like 6 subscribers. Now we're down to -8.
Fuck you. We don't need the Southerners anyways.
Jesus. You sound like you're from the Hillary campaign. We don't
I
even need to go to Michigan or Wisconsin.
won the votes where it matters.
She said that. Well, if you don't vote for me, then you're dumb. That's basically what her campaign was. Like, guys, you got to vote for me. Like, why would I vote for you? Because you got to vote for me.
On the Hillary Clinton apology tour, she which is what I call it.
That's what it is.
Yeah, she was talking to somebody and she was telling them, yeah, I won all the places that matter. New York,
Anybody could say that.
California.
If you're running for student, if you're running for class president, and then you only got like 5 votes because you're like an asshole and nobody likes you, that person can make the same claim. Well, I got voted by the people that matter. Like, yeah,
I can see
anyone can make that claim.
Well, I can see where she's coming from with that, but she's also voter shaming
from a
people.
5-year-old mentality. That's where she's coming from. That's what a 5-year-old says.
The
only people voted me the ones that mattered. Fuck you.
Her point is that like people in Silicon Valley and like New York City
Right.
are the ones who support her.
Right.
Yeah, that's her point.
And people who don't support her are just like people who don't like
Dumb hicks in, like,
sending troops
Alabama.
to
Yeah.
wars that we don't need to be fighting, and these idiots who want Medicare for all, and all these people that don't matter. Yeah. People who don't like giving $8 billion a year to the second most profitable company in the world, ExxonMobil, for no reason. An additional $8 billion we give out to the banks. Like, why are we giving these? Like, dude, whatever happened to capitalism? If you fail, you fail. Pack it up, go home. You lost, you're bankrupt, go home. That's it. We don't need to be bailing out corporations. We're not a corporatist country.
We're not gonna go ahead and bail out Sally's Cupcakes.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. But we're gonna bail. Oh, Ford goes under. We gotta bail them out. What?
I can see that because that actually helped working people though.
Yeah, it did have an ultimately positive effect, but that's not the kind of country we should have. We should have the kind of country where there are actually stakes. You know, like, hey, guess what? If you go under, you go under. Maybe companies would be like, oh shit, well maybe we got to stop cutting fucking corners and
maybe
make breaks that work.
Maybe that also, kind of encourages this country to invest in unions.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
To actually start thinking realistically about things like universal income, any kind of social safety net. because if not, people will actually be screwed. you know?
I had a conflict at my work recently, and I remember when I was speaking with with one of the HR representatives, and I was talking about the company. It's a nonprofit organization, but I was talking about the company and its interests and with respect to their employees, and my HR representative kept, seeming like I was talking about either myself or another person, and it's like, no, this is how you're supposed to think. If you are high up in a business, you're supposed to think about how do these decisions affect customers? How do they affect the people that pay me? How do they affect the employees? Because the employees are the ones that make the money. And I'm like, why do you think about just individual, like 2 or 3 people at a time? Like, that's how you base your decision making? Like, no, you need to think about, like, how you say you want to do this because you like it. Okay, well, but how does that affect the employees? How does that affect people? I've noticed there's a lot of people that don't think like that, and then they join the Republican Party. So that's interesting. This world's crazy, man. I want capitalism. I hate corporatism. It's horrible.
That's it's not really what we have here. We don't really have a free market. No, because the government comes in and it favors a few corporations.
Yep.
Like net
industries.
neutrality. The Restore Internet Freedom Act. Remember that?
Like the Patriot Act.
In my view,
aptly named.
Very Orwellian, but in my view, that like directly contradicts the free market in the sense that, and that was the argument for it, is that we don't have a free market internet right now, and
right.
we fucking
we
did.
do.
We did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, shit did. You gotta say did now. Damn it.
But the reason that it's not exactly free market is because you basically only have you have ISPs who favor the people with money. Like they basically will slow down speeds unless you pay your bribes, your faster connection fees.
Right.
Right now, it was with net neutrality situated in a way where everybody would pay the same for the same speed, pretty much. Right.
And now Netflix, because like this is an example, like Netflix has a ton of money, right? They could easily pay these companies a bunch of money, and now if you have a startup and you want to start like a video streaming service, fuck you, you're done.
The small guys.
Yeah, Netflix has money.
Even though you may be more innovative.
Yep. Your service could be better and everything. Doesn't matter. You have no chance of starting up. Fuck you.
Yeah. Because you don't have the money to do it. So it directly contradicts the free market.
And who do you think is going to be paying these fees? Do you think it's going to be Netflix? It's just going to come out of their pocket? No. They're going to make that money back somehow. It's going to come from you. Yeah, exactly. It's going to come from you. And that's just one of the 8 septillion. I mean, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, because what was it like at the very least it was 80 something, but I think it might have even been low 90% of people were for net neutrality. And it was like at the time when what's his name, Ajit Pai, when he made that stupid ass video. You remember that? He was like,
with the fidget spinners.
Yeah, here's all the things you can still do during the Third Reich.
He's he's fucking gloating,
Right. You can say the exact same thing about the Third Reich. Hey,
that
guess
dude,
what? The Nazis have taken power, but you can still put pictures on Instagram. It's like, dude, no one's thinking you can't take pictures on Instagram. That's not what we're bitching about. That's not the problem, you idiot. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, at the time, I think it was like at least 80-something, but I think it might have been the low 90s% of people who are for net neutrality. So it's really good that he followed the world.
Ajit Pai has one of the most punchable faces ever known to man.
He does. And some DSL, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, good for sucking off his corporate overlords.
Maybe. No, his lips are like very, very thick.
I've seen them.
Deep red. Yeah. I think Ethan Klein pointed that out on the H3 podcast.
He was legit
H3 podcast, sorry.
On the legal team for Verizon. He worked for Verizon before he went to the FCC. He's like the classic corrupt DC like character, you know? Because he's like one of those people who works for fucking Goldman Sachs, then goes to work for the though. The shit, what's that agency called that regulates finance?
Oh,
I don't know. We can't come up with the name, but yeah, it's like the people who go and regulate the people that they
like
just
the Treasury
worked for.
Department, you mean?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm
like
thinking
the
of a
Secretary of
specific,
the Treasury.
I'm thinking of a different agency, but we won't get into the
I mean,
weeds
there's
with
a lot
details.
of there's a lot of agencies
Yeah.
that affect. But if you're talking about like directly,
specifically finance, yeah. But it's shit like that.
finance laws, or do you? I mean, okay, I get what you're saying then. Never mind. Yeah. I'm being nitpicky at this point.
Yeah, but he's one of so he's like a classic like political thriller movie villain, you know?
You know the difference between Obama's and Trump's Treasury departments. You know the difference between them. It really is the difference between the 5th and the 8th floor of Goldman Sachs. It's great that, it's horrible that, Trump has refilled the swamp and has now the most corrupt cabinet that any president has ever had.
It's not even
but the same
close.
But at the same time, it's good. Yeah, well, yeah, he does have the most corrupt cabinet in history. That's true. But it's almost a good thing now that we have Trump, because Obama was also extremely corrupt. Do you remember who Obama's Secretary of the Treasury was? Yeah, me either, because everyone was fucking asleep because Obama had a pretty face, and he has a pretty voice, and he's a Democrat, so no one pays attention. But now we have an idiot Republican in office, not everybody's paying attention. Betsy DeVos, you all know who that is. Exactly. But who the hell knows who someone picks for their education secretary? Do you remember Obama's original?
No.
Yeah, no, neither do I. Exactly.
Yeah, that dude had his head in the trough just like everybody else. That's how Bill Burr put it, and I love it. Cause he was taking just as much money as Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah,
He's taking just as much money as Republicans.
it was actually Obama who said, like, why are we still talking about Russia? Like,
He set the record
Like
for
we do business
deportations.
with them. Like
Yeah.
we take money from them. We were all politicians, right? Like we've all taken money from the Russians. Why are we pretending like this is a new thing? Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, he set the record for deportations.
Yep, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Bombed so many times.
escalated
we
the
ran out
drug
of bombs.
war.
We literally ran out of bombs at one point because we were bombing so much.
So I don't know why people. I heard somebody call him a socialist the other day. Like seriously.
I wish. Dude, I'm not even a socialist, and I'd rather him be a socialist than what he was. And that's a lot of foreigners don't know that either. A lot of foreigners think that Obama was a good president. It's like, oh my, like
He was charming.
What this is? Jimmy Doro says, I love how he says Obama puts the left to sleep. Because that's what he does. Because he's a nice guy. You don't have to pay attention. Everything's good. So everyone fell asleep. They didn't pay attention to the corruption that was going on right under everybody's noses. But now with Trump, it's so in your face. Oh my God! Did you hear about the recent progression with the MoR investigation?
Yep.
Oh my God! Yeah, bitch!
This morning, yeah.
That
He's
was
gonna go to prison for probably he faces possibly up to 80 years, but
no, but the Trump thing.
Oh, the fact that he used campaign money to pay off Stormy Daniels.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
If that's true, that's so illegal.
Yeah, well, he confirmed it in court.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, dude! If that's true, though, that's insane.
I don't know why they wouldn't just pay. They're fucking rich. Why wouldn't they just pay him out of their own pocket?
Oh, because Trump has no money, dude. Everybody knows this. Trump has no money. He used to lie and claim, I got like $10 billion. You Google it. It's like net worth is $400 million. It's like, wait, but you owe like millions and millions of dollars to these banks and to this Chinese agency, and you owe money all these places, and you're borrowing money, so you have no money. And it's like, and you wonder why he uses campaign money, because he doesn't have any.
I think that's probably why he went out as president. Just like maybe financial desperation.
I mean, maybe. Guess
I could
what?
see that.
If you're a president and then you're no longer president and then you write a book, guess what? Unless you're Hillary Clinton, of course, and it only sells 3,000 copies, your book sells. So you're always going to be able to make money. So maybe that could be very plausible as to at least one of the reasons why.
I'd never thought of that before. Yeah, because he's going to be good for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah.
Doing like what a lot of presidents do, speaking gigs for millions of dollars.
Yep.
Yeah, writing books.
Yeah.
Selling
all that
merchandise.
corruption. Not the books, but the speaking gigs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Not even the
He could
appearance
have,
of corruption.
because he's probably under a lot of pressure right now. And think about it, he's like doing all these deals with Saudis. They gave him all that money at his hotel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No corruption then. I love it.
He's so corrupt. Like people like call him racist and shit. They call him racist.
That's so stupid.
They call him a Nazi. They fucking smear that's part of the reason why he won
Right.
in the first place,
There's
is because
actual
you're not
things to
you're
criticize
not
him
making
on.
actual arguments. You're making bullshit.
Right.
But yeah, he broke the emoluments clause.
Yep.
He broke
He directly broke the emoluments
campaign
clause.
finance laws. We know now that's like confirmed.
Well, not
Yeah.
it's not confirmed. He just admitted to it in court, and so now they have to investigate and look into that. And
It fucking happened.
if-
though. It fucking happened.
well, yeah, we can say here it did. Of course, we can say that. But if we were like an official show, we'd have to say allegedly. But the thing is, so if Trump used campaign finance money to pay off Stormy Daniels, one, it's pretty sad that it had to take fucking Stormy Daniels for the American people to wake up and give a shit, because it's like this corruption's happening. But anyway, if he did that, what happens? And that's the question. No one knows.
I don't think they should waste their time on impeachment.
Well, no, that's the thing. Is like they're not talking about impeachment. They're talking about indicting him, because that's what would happen. He would have to be indicted because he broke a law. But can you indict a sitting president? Literally nobody knows. We think that, I mean, if you impeach him, you can indict him. We know that. If you impeach a president, you can then indict him. But if he's not been impeached, can you indict him? That's the question. And so, if the answer is no, that's really scary for our democracy, not just for Trump. But that would mean that if you're not impeached, you could essentially you can commit a crime, and it doesn't matter.
And he's got a majority, so there's no way he's going to get impeached.
Right. So then if we realize, well, he has to be impeached to be indicted, okay, well, let's impeach him. There's no way, because the Republicans have the majority of the House, the Senate. The Republicans, they actually have the majority of every single position of government right now. So there's no way they're going to impeach him. So if they're not going to impeach him, they can't indict him, which means he can just go ahead and just commit crimes and he's good.
Remember when he tweeted out a few weeks ago, "Of course, the president has the right to pardon himself."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That guy
So fascism.
has a permanent job.
Legit
at
fascism.
At Saturday Night Live, because you can't write comedy that good. That's great. You know, not only can the president not fucking pardon himself, he also shouldn't be able to pardon somebody who is going to prison for a crime that directly relates to or benefits the president. Because then that's just you pardoning your buddies. That's not rule of law. The rule of law, or that's what we call it in the United States, basically just stating that law is blind to who you are. If you're the president, if you're a homeless guy, if you're rich, if you're poor, it doesn't matter. All crimes theoretically should have the same punishment.
That's not how it goes here.
It's not how it goes, but that's how the law is stated here. It's called the rule of law.
Yeah, you have rich fucks like Brock Turner being able to get fucking house
he
house
had a
arrest.
scholarship. He had a scholarship.
He
man.
knew how to swim.
He knew he knew how to swim well. You forgot that part, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. My bad.
Very well.
For 20 minutes of action, you know, we don't want to ruin his whole
God
life.
damn it.
Do you remember when his dad
Yes.
said that?
Yes, I do. Jesus
Are
Christ.
we really going to let this young man's life be ruined for 20 minutes of action?
Why don't you just say it, man? Why don't you just say it? Hey, this guy got some action. Why do you care
did
how
you-
we got it?
So he appealed. Brock Turner appealed, and his latest argument was it was over the pants stuff, basically.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you didn't see that?
That's great. You know what? Why don't you go to Japan on the subway buses and then just start grabbing people?
But
it's
it was
over the pants.
It was over the pants stuff. That was his point.
Sounds good. sounds good to me.
Yeah,
all checks out.
Airtight.
All checks
oh,
out.
they fucking denied him hardcore though.
Hey, he
the
grabbed
judge,
my tits.
the judge,
Correction, you were wearing a T-shirt.
the judge fucking like straight up insulted him though. I gotta find out what exactly he said because I remember it was a fucking burn.
That sounds retarded, dude. I actually have this weird thing, and this is something I can't believe I'm admitting on the internet, but I have this really weird thing about making people uncomfortable. I hate it so much to the point that even when I was married and had been married for a long time, okay, I'm not gonna say that. Anyway, I don't like making people uncomfortable to the point where I'm not even like, when it comes to having sex or about to have, I always have to make sure that there is consent, like verbally. Like, I'll usually ask, if it's something that she wants to. It sounds like really stupid, and it is stupid, and it totally is a mood killer, right? But I would never want to make someone uncomfortable, especially in that way. And then to think that there are people that just go out, and let's just say it, to go out and just rape people. That's mind-blowing to me.
He called it outer course. He had sexual outer course with an intoxicated victim.
Inter does not mean inside of, you dipshit. The internet is a connection of okay. Wow.
Outer
I have so
course.
much to say about that. I'm not. All right,
Turner was convicted of 3 counts of felony sexual assault after Swedish exchange students discovered him aggressively thrusting on top of a half-dressed intoxicated woman. That was all that. Yeah, he just called it outer course.
Just making up words now. Thanks.
Yeah,
Good
it wasn't
job.
that bad. It was outer course.
It wasn't rape. It
was
it was compelling.
It sounds funnier if you say, "Yeah, it's just over the pants stuff."
It was just over the pants stuff. That's great. Well, that's essentially what that argument is.
Yeah.
It's just over the pants. You've been watching Workaholics, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
God
actually.
damn it! You should.
Just the fact that you want me to watch that show and we don't live together anymore, I'm gonna spite you just by not.
You're only hurting yourself. It's a hilarious show.
Whatever you say.
Okay.
Whatever you say.
Didn't I recommend you watch How I Met Your Mother? Wasn't that my recommendation?
Yeah, it was.
What show do you always fucking watch now
It's-
all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought Hulu just to
Did it?
watch How I Met Your Mother.
Jesus. You know what else is on Hulu?
Workaholics.
Workaholics.
I know, because you bogart my Hulu account, even though you won't admit it to watch Workaholics.
This is, oh my God, I wanted to bring this up.
What?
So, one of my favorite sayings of all time is, you see the world not for how it is, but for how you are. You think all the time that I tell you things that are dishonest, but I have a thing about lying. I never lie. And it tells me so much about how you are. Like, because remember when we used to live together, you would say like little things, and I wouldn't think anything of it, because I'm pretty socially stupid. Like, I don't pick up on a lot of stuff. And then you'll come back to me 5 minutes later, it's like, yeah, that was a lie. It'd be like little lies. And I'm like, why do you tell little lies? Like, that's so weird. But like, you do that, so I think because you do that, you think other people do that too. But we really, some people probably do, but not everybody does. And that's why I love that saying so much. I actually, because of that quote, I think I've become more, and I'm still working on it, obviously, but I think I've become more perceptive of the way that I am. Because I'll think like, oh, that guy's doing this and doing that, and I'll think, I wonder why I think he's like that. I wonder why I think that he's doing it like that. Maybe it's because I do that, and I'll think about it. And a lot of times it's like, maybe that's true. And I'll be a little more perspective. Well, weed helps too. But it helps be a little more perceptive. And I'm like, maybe more people are like this, or maybe less people like that. Maybe I'm different in this way, or maybe we're all kind of similar. But I have noticed that about you. I think that was going on with the. Wait, shut up. What? Shut up with what?
Yeah.
At the gym, I was gonna say. Remember we were at the gym the other day, and you're asking me, or we're talking about something, and you kept asking me these really weird questions, and I was like, I don't remember how I asked it, but I asked you why you're asking, and you laughed. You're like, I'm just like trying to poke holes. Like, why are you poking holes? Like, I'm just telling you something. Yeah, it's something I never really got about you. I want to kind of want to like dive in and like try to figure that out, like, because I texted you about that, but you never responded.
Yeah. It's not really something I enjoy talking about.
Oh, okay. That's just something I wonder. I wonder a lot of things. I think I don't like to people watch. Like, I'm not one of those people that go in the mall and like watch people's behavior. But I do try to study the way people do things and like why people do things. And then I'll try to watch myself and see if I do it the same way or differently. It's mainly just because I'm an idiot. And like, you used to help me out a lot when we worked. When we lived together. You'd say like, "Oh, hey, that thing you do is..." Oh, you wouldn't say it like this, but you'd basically be like, "Hey, that thing you do is like really stupid and it comes off weird." And I'd be like, "Really? I had no idea." Like, I used to just go from, well, I probably still do a lot, but I used to be really, really bad, I guess, at going from one topic to the next. And one time you pointed it out, and it was so obvious I never thought of it. You're like, "Yeah, usually you gotta like, you know..." I don't remember how you said it, but you gotta like segue. You said you gotta acknowledge what the other person said before moving on. And I was like, I never thought of that. It's so obvious, but I never did it. And so I probably sounded like a jackass all the time, just going from topic to topic. And until you had said that to me, literally as like a 24-year-old man, I never thought that in my life. Like, maybe I should acknowledge things.
Yep, that's how social interaction works.
Yeah, I started writing, I was thinking about writing a book about it, actually, the past couple weeks, because I have all these notes, both on the Notes app, some on paper, in one of those composition books, the black and white ones, that look like cows, mostly in the Notes app, though. I have so many notes just on, like, how to be social, how to do social interactions, and it's just notes that I've taken from either stuff that you've told me or stuff that I've observed from other people. And I have so much of it, I thought I could legitimately like make a book. You know, I've already been writing another book I've been working on for like a year now, so why not work on two at once?
Sounds like a personal problem. Probably write a book about it.
I could. I use
yeah.
Scrivener to write books, and you can do multiple things simultaneously. Yeah.
Anyways, I think we should probably start wrapping up.
It's probably about a good length, I imagine. Yeah, it's probably been close to a couple hours. My screen turned back off, and I'm not looking at it, so I'm not exactly sure. But hey, thank you guys for taking a listen to us. This episode probably won't be on Spotify for a bit because we ran out of space on Spotify, and we got to buy a subscription to get some more. And so I'm going to look into that and maybe some other options as well. But this episode definitely will be on YouTube. So thank you guys for listening, and hope you all have a blessed day.